Hello everybody and welcome once again to SFF180. It is Monday, September the 3rd, Labor Day, holiday here in the States. And it's time once again for the mailbag. Hope you guys have had a great week and a great weekend leading into this holiday. Wednesday of this week I fly out to Orlando for BookNet Fest. To be perfectly honest, I'm not quite sure about BookNet Fest this year. Going to see, it looks like it's going to be very different from last year, so we'll see how it pans out. But I'm looking forward to going and seeing people, if nothing else. That's always the thing that I get the most out of going to these conferences, as you probably saw if you checked out my Worldcon video, vlog, recap thing that I finally, at long last, got around to finishing over the weekend and posting this morning. So go and check that out if you have not checked that out. Big stack of books today because, as you know, there has been a 2-week gap. So we're going to see what we have here. I found out from one of my publishers that somehow they still had my 2-year-old former address in their system, and I was curious to know, well, why haven't I been getting this? Why haven't I been getting that? What's the... Well, hang on, let us confirm your address. Is it this? No, it hasn't been that for a long time. I don't know how these communication slip-ups happen, but hopefully we will see a little bit more efficiency here in the future. But anyway, without further ado, oh, and before anyone says anything, yeah, I know about the hair. This was a mistake. Live and learn. Okay, and we're going to start out today with, oh, this is from the Hachette group. Well, this is kind of cool to start out with. This is a new book called Cold Iron, not to be confused with Cold Iron, the book by my good friend Stina Light. This is by Miles Cameron. All right, a new series by the author of the Trader's Son series, I believe that was called, The Red Knight and all the rest of those. This is called Masters and Mages, new series. This comes out on October the 23rd. And let's have a look here, because it's no sell sheet, so I'm going to have to do it this way. Looks to be a bit more in the grimdark vein. Bloody choices breed bloody consequences. Aranthur thought he was a mage. He'd trained for the role, studied, practiced, and prepared. But fate has other plans. When soldiers attack the inn he's visiting, he takes up his sword to defend it. In this one moment, his true talents emerge. Aranthur isn't a mage at all. He's a swordsman. The first choice will lead him down a path more violent and dangerous than he ever imagined. Because, as Aranthur leaves his past behind to study the way of the blade, a war is stirring, and a swordsman must live and die by his weapon, no matter what side he's fighting for. And as many of you know, Miles Cameron is also the pseudonym of Christian Cameron, who has a long career as a historical novelist as well. So, but anyway, Cold Iron by Miles Cameron comes out, as I said, October the 23rd from Orbit. Let me know in the comments. And next we have a thin little package from Random Penguin. Okay, and this comes in from Ace Books. It's a little trade paperback called Phoenix Unbound. And it looks to be first in a series of something called The Fallen Empire. And the author is Grace Draven. And I don't know, yeah, it's going to be I'm going to have to just read it like this. So anyway, cover. Let's have a look. A witch blazes but does not burn. A gladiator bleeds but does not break. Together they will challenge the Empire which sought to destroy them. Every year, each town is required to send a young woman to the Empire's capital. Her fate to be burned alive for the entertainment of the masses. Jesus. For the last 5 years, one small village's tithe has been the same woman. Jalene's sacrifice protects all the other young women of her village, and her secret to staying alive lies with the magic only she possesses. But this year is different. Azarian, the Empire's most famous gladiator, has somehow seen through her illusion, and is set on blackmailing Jalene into using her abilities to help him escape his life of slavery. Unknown to Jalene, he also wants to reclaim his birthright as leader of his clan. To protect her family and village, she will abandon everything to return to the Empire and burn once more. Well, this really sounds pretty dark, yeah, Phoenix Unbound. And it looks to be a September Ace paperback by Grace Draven. All right, and this next one comes in from Razor Bill, young adult imprint. This is a book called Sea Fire. The author is Natalie C. Parker. And hooray, they actually sell sheet this time. Thank you. Let's see. The first in a heart-stopping trilogy, it says, that recalls the undeniable feminine power of Wonder Woman. And the powder keg action of Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. Seafire follows the captain of an all-female ship intent on taking down a vicious warlord's powerful fleet. All right. After her family is killed by corrupt warlord Eric Aether and his bloodthirsty army of bullets. Cool. Caledonia Styx. All right then, I like that name. Is left to chart her own course on the dangerous and deadly seas. She captains her ship, the Mors Navis, with a crew of girls and women just like her who have lost their families and homes because of Eric and his men. The crew has one mission, stay alive and take down Eric's armed and armored fleet. But when Caledonia's best friend and second in command barely survives an attack thanks to help from a bullet looking to defect, Caledonia finds herself questioning whether to let him join their crew. Don't trust him, girls. Don't trust him. Is this boy the key to taking down Eric Aether once and for all, or will he threaten everything the women of the Mors Navis have worked for? Okay. And this one says, okay, this came out last week, so last Tuesday in hardcover. Seafire, and first in a trilogy, of course. So, let me know in the comments. And next up we have another little random penguin envelope. Okay, and this one comes in from Daw Books. This is called World Shaper, and the author is Edward Willett. And it says, from an Aurora Award-winning author comes the first book in a new Portal fantasy series, okay, in which one woman's powers open a way to a labyrinth of new dimensions, okay. For Shauna Keys, the world is almost perfect. She's just opened a pottery studio in a beautiful city, as you see. She's in love with a wonderful man, she has good friends. But one shattering moment of violence changes everything. Mysterious attackers kill her best friend. They're about to kill Shauna. She can't believe it's happening, and just like that, it isn't. It hasn't. No one else remembers the attack or her friend. To everyone else, Shauna's friend never existed. Okay, interesting. Everyone it is except the mysterious stranger, of course, who shows up in Shauna's shop. He claims her world has been perfect because she shaped it to be perfect. That it is only one of uncounted shaped worlds in a great labyrinth, and that all those worlds are under threat from the adversary who has now invaded hers. She cannot save her world, he says, but she might be able to save others. If she will follow him from world to world, learning their secrets and carrying them to Igraire, the mysterious lady at the labyrinth's heart. Frightened and hounded, Shauna sets off on a desperate journey, uncertain whom she can trust, how to use her newfound power, and what awaits her in the myriad worlds beyond her own. All right, then. That's kind of an interesting concept. I like it. But World Shaper is out in September now, from Daw Books by Edward Willett. Oh, and this one is from HarperCollins. And this one I'm really happy to see. This is Roar of Sky, and I'm really happy to see it because it is the third volume in this trilogy by Beth Cato, the Blood of Earth trilogy. And let's see, I think the second one was Call of Fire, and then the first one was, I think, Breath of Earth. Something like that. Anyway, they're all out now, so it's bingeable at last. And it's set in San Francisco. The series begins directly prior to the cataclysmic earthquake of 1906. Cato's alternate history series blends equal parts American history, world mythology, and sheer imagination. Okay, and I don't want to read too much of the synopsis, okay, so as to avoid spoilers for earlier books. But this is out, let's see, comes out on October the 23rd from Harper Voyager. Very happy to see this one at last. Roar of Sky by Beth Cato. Where's the thing? Okay, well this way. Another random penguin envelope. And it is the finished copy of Mecha Samurai Empire, which I believe is the follow-up to United States of Japan by Peter Tirius, which came out a few years ago. And so this one is now out. And let's have a look here. It says, War Orphan Makoto Mac Fujimoto wants nothing more than to become a mecha pilot for the Japanese Empire, which has divided control of the U.S. with the Germans since winning World War II. So you see it's alternate history. But it's become increasingly clear that Mac doesn't have what it takes. His test scores are terrible, he's out of shape, and he has no political connections to get him into the military academy. After Mac fails the entrance exam, he has one more shot to achieve his dream, joining a civilian mecha security force. But with tensions rising between the United States of Japan and Nazi Germany, Mac will have to stay alive long enough first. And that is Mecha Samurai Empire from Ace Books by Peter Tirius. And next up we have a very pretty book indeed. Look at that, so shiny and lovely, so nice, yes. Anyway, this is called Mirage. Okay, and the author is Somaya Daoud, so it's a debut novel. And this is kind of interesting. It's It's a fantasy, I guess, in all but name, because it takes place on another world, but mostly it reads like a fantasy story. It goes like this. In a world dominated by the brutal Vathek Empire, 18-year-old Amani is a dreamer. She dreams of what life was like before the occupation, of writing poetry, of receiving a sign from Dia that one day she too will have adventure and travel beyond her isolated moon. But when adventure comes for Amani, it's not what she expects. She's kidnapped by the regime and taken in secret to the royal palace, where she discovers that she looks nearly identical to the cruel half-Vathek princess Maram. The princess is so hated by her conquered people that she requires a body double, someone to appear in public as Miram, ready to die in her place. As Amani is forced into, kind of like Melania Trump, right? Has a double? As Amani is forced into her new role, she knows she is a prisoner in all but name. Even so, she can't help enjoying the palace's beauty and her time with the princess's fiancé, Idris. Oh my. But the glitter of the royal court belies a world of violence and fear. If Amani ever wishes to see her family again, she must play the princess to perfection, because one wrong mood could lead to her death. Yeah, sounds like a cool concept. Story might have a little bit too much in the romance angle to be entirely my thing, but once again, look how shiny it is. All right, Mirage by Somaya Daoud. And, and like the other one, this came out last Tuesday, so it is now out in stores. All right, and another HarperCollins package. And this is the finished copy of Timeless by R.A. Salvatore. This features his fan-favorite character, Drizzt Do'Urden, who is a dark elf, apparently. It's an all-new trilogy full of swordplay, danger, and imaginative thrills. Okay, and they go on and on and on. And he's, very popular also among tabletop gamers, and these kinds of, he has that fan base too. Taking hold of the imaginations of countless fans. It says, all right then, this is the first new Drizzt trilogy in 2 years at least. Okay. All right then, so I don't know if this is something that will only appeal to longtime fans of this character, or if new, readers can jump on board with Timeless. But if you're into it, this hits the stands tomorrow on the 4th from Harper Voyager. And this one is from Pyre Books. And we have another one of these series that I have been sort of eyeballing and, been interested in getting into. And now the third one is out, and I'm saying to myself, why do I do this to myself? But this is Black City Dragon by Richard Knack, and it is the sequel to Black City Saint and Black City Demon. And this is a series that essentially involves the Fae in sort of 1920s gangland Chicago, Prohibition-era Chicago, as it were. With wild and gangsters wreaking havoc in Chicago, Nick and Clarice must confront the secrets of their pasts if they are to have any hope of finding out Galerius' plans before it's too late to stop them. Nick will need the help of all his friends, both human and fairy, and the powers of the dragon within him to keep Galerius from endangering the Gate, Chicago, and all of humanity. Okay then. So yeah, urban fantasy, but the fact that it has that kind of roaring 20s setting, I think kind of, makes it a little bit more interesting than most. But Black City Dragon will be out from Pyre Books on November the 13th. And moving down the stack, we have another Hachette book. All right, this is one that I actually didn't know about, but I'm happy to have it. This is called The Winter Road. The author is Adrian Selby, whose earlier book was called something like Snakewood, I believe. This comes out November the 13th, and it doesn't say that it is a sequel to that book. So I'm going to, Snakewood. So I'm going to assume that it is its own thing, The Winter Road. But let's have a look. A thrilling epic fantasy adventure soaked with blood and betrayal, as all the good ones are, right? Started as a simple journey, it will end with a trail of blood. The former mercenary Amundsen has an ambition to create a trading route that will enrich and civilize her savage former homeland, known as the Circle. But the Circle and its clans are now under the influence of a cunning and brutal warlord. Where their paths cross, fierce violence will reign. All right, then. Well, interesting. Okay, then The Winter Road. That's all we get for a synopsis. But is by Adrian Selby, as I said, and comes out from Orbit Books on November 13th. Let me know in the comments. And last but not least, we have this vacuum-sealed package from Macmillan, it says. All right. And this is something called Deep Silence, and it is the 12th Joe Ledger novel by Jonathan Mayberry. While this is the final regular installment for the beloved Joe Ledger series, Ledger still has to save the world and then some. Okay, yeah, this appears to be like mostly... I have heard from fans of this series, and apparently it's mostly like a kind of a, you know, techno thriller. He's out, you know, action adventure. He's out battling terrorists and things. And there is a kind of science fictional element apparently because it involves like ancient technologies from Atlantis and what have you. So, you know, just fun escapism, as it were. But I've read none of them, and I know nothing about this series. But if you are a Joe Ledger fan, then you'll be happy to know that Deep Silence will be available on October the 30th from St. Martin's Press, and I guess it's the 12th and final volume of his adventures by Jonathan Mayberry. And there we have it. That is the mailbag for this week. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these look most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video far and wide with all your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. That is how the channel grows. You can also support SFF180 at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's army get little perks like getting to see these videos early, things like that. I just looked and I am about $17 away from $200 a month. So I want to thank all the people who are supporting me there for doing so. If you are considering it, thank you for considering it. I want to thank the rest of you for being amazing viewers. And until I see you all next time, happy reading.